He arrived in a new city with nothing, no house, no land, no money, just the clothes on his back and a promise he had made to God. A rich man offered him half of everything he owned, a house, land, even a choice of wife. He said no. He asked for something else instead, something far more valuable than charity. He asked to be shown the market. That one decision would make him one of the richest men in the history of Islam. This is the story of Abdurrahman bin Auf and what his life teaches us about surviving hard times. Before he was rich, Abdurrahman bin Auf was already rich, a respected merchant in Mecca from the Banu Zuhra clan. But when he accepted Islam, everything changed. His own tribe turned against him. He was beaten, boycotted, starved of trade. And when the order came to migrate to Medina, he left almost all of it behind. No caravan, no warehouse, no wealth, just faith and a willingness to start again from zero. This is the part of the story most people skip because it isn't glamorous. It's just a man arriving in a new city with nothing. In Medina, the Prophet paired new migrants with local hosts, a bond of brotherhood meant to rebuild what war had taken away. Abdurrahman was paired with Sa'd ibn ar-Rabi, one of the wealthiest men among the Ansar. Sa'd made him an extraordinary offer, half of his wealth, half of his land, even the choice to marry one of his own wives. Most people, starting from nothing, would have said yes. Abdurrahman said, "I have no need for that." Then he asked one simple question instead. Is there a marketplace here where trade is practiced? He wasn't asking for a handout. He was asking for an opportunity. The next day, Abdurrahman walked into the market of Kainuka and started from the bottom. He began by trading dried yogurt and butter. Small margins, small profits, nothing dramatic. But he showed up every single day. Fair prices, honest weight, no shortcuts. Word spread that this man could be trusted, and trust in trade is worth more than capital. Within a short time, his profits grew, then his trade routes grew, then his caravans grew. He didn't get rich by being given wealth. He got rich by refusing it and building instead. Historians and scholars point to a few clear principles behind Abdurrahman's success, and they still apply today. 1. He avoided riba, no interest-based debt, no shortcuts through usury. 2. He was radically honest. Even when he found a flaw in goods after selling them, he made it right, because trust outlives any single sale. 3. He worked relentlessly. He didn't wait for opportunity. He walked to the market, the very next day, with nothing but 2 small products to sell. 4. He never let wealth capture his heart. He treated money as a tool, not an identity. This is the part of Islamic economic thinking people rarely put into a headline, that wealth is meant to be earned with integrity, not just accumulated by any means necessary. Years later, one story became legendary. A trade caravan arrived in Medina so large, some accounts describe 700 camels, that the ground itself seemed to shake, and the noise startled the entire city. People rushed outside thinking something was wrong. It was just Abdurrahman's caravan arriving from Syria. By this point, he was counted among the wealthiest men in Medina, alongside Uthman ibn Affan and Abu Bakr. Some accounts say a third of the city's economy depended directly or indirectly on his trade and charity. But the story doesn't end with the caravan. It ends with what he did next. Abdurrahman didn't hoard what he built. He funded soldiers and equipment for the army at Tabuk. Almost single-handedly, he freed enslaved people. He gave massive dowries at weddings. By some accounts, roughly a third of Medina's poor lived in some part off his charity. The Quran itself frames this principle directly, that wealth given sincerely multiplies like a single seed that grows into 700 grains. Abdurrahman is remembered as one of the 10 companions personally promised paradise by the Prophet, not only for his wealth, but for what he refused to let that wealth become. So what does this actually mean for someone today, staring at a shrinking paycheck, rising prices, a job market that feels impossible? Islam doesn't teach passive waiting. It teaches sabr with kasb, patience paired with real, active effort. Trust in God was never meant to replace showing up to work. Abdurrahman didn't sit and wait for provision to arrive. He walked to the market the next morning. Abdurrahman bin Auf lost everything once and rebuilt it with nothing but honesty and effort. That's not a story about luck. It's a blueprint. He arrived with nothing and refused a shortcut. He built instead with his own 2 hands and gave most of it away. Stories like this one, the real history behind the men and women who shaped Islamic civilization. That's what this channel is for. If this is the kind of history you want more of, subscribe now because this is only the beginning.